These new Seiko solar tunas, the SNE, this particular one is the sne498, like black and gold. I'm more excited about this line of watches from Seiko than most of everything else I've seen of late. Hear me out. And I know there's a lot of purists out there that want that automatic movement. I really don't care whether it's auto or quartz or solar or kinetic or spring drive. I mean, I care, don't get me wrong, I care, but ultimately, I'm more of a value hunter. And what Seiko has done with this particular line by redoing it, I mean, because they've had some solar ones before, but this new iteration and these new models, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty more coming out, they hit a home run. The sizing and the fit and finish and everything is just perfect. For the value that it comes with. If you notice real quick here, the suggested retail is $450. Now this is a watch from Mimo's Jewelry, and if you use the Rob 35 or the Bruce 35, either one of those codes, you're going to get 35% off, and that's purchasing it from an authorized dealer, Seiko dealer. So let's talk about the watch a little bit now. We're talking on Seiko's site, they claim 47 millimeter wide. I measured at 46.5. And then it has that weird Seiko feel to it. So when I do 46.5, that's all the way to the base of the shroud. So really the watch is going to wear a little bit smaller because the shroud is like an added piece on there. But I'll give you a wrist shot, lume shot, all that stuff. We're going to cover this one pretty good. 45.5 lug to lug, drilled lugs. The lugs do not stick out far from the case at all, as you can see. Or they don't really. I mean, they do drop down and angle down a little bit, which is good. That's what you want. 22 millimeter lug width. And you only have a 12 millimeter thickness. They kept that crystal, the Hardlex crystal, flat. And I like that. I dig that. Here's another thing that I dig. The bezel action. This one's actually pretty stiff. I have another one here that's a little bit looser. And when you have a shrouded case, I prefer the bezel action to be a little bit looser. Because you only have the access points like right here to turn that. So that's kind of nice. This is, we're going to look at a little bit closer here. I know there's a little bit of lint and all that stuff on there, but I want you to look at the bezel insert. Are you guys picking that up? So what you have here are, those are like applied on there or somehow sandwiched in some sort of resin. You can see how they have like depth to them. That lends to a very cool effect in person, and they did a matte finish on the insert, which works really well with the watch, and I'm going to show you why at the end when we do a lume shot. But it's the 200 meter Prospex, so it has a screw down crown. This has the V157 solar movement in it, which is a really nice movement. You can do a little bit of homework or research on that. I looked it up real quick. I didn't go too in depth on it, but it looks like a really nice solid solar movement. It has that soft silicone strap, matching hardware on this one. The other model I have here, I did notice, quite a bit of crown or the stem wobble, if you will. Not such a big deal to me personally, because when you have the quartz movement, the only time you're gonna, because it screws in nice, by the way, the only time you're gonna have that out to adjust is to maybe fine tune your time, but basically to adjust 30, 31 day, month, stuff. So it's not, even if it's in rotation, it's not a big deal. It's a really nice solid built watch. As you can see, I like the handset. The second hand, it has a nice little gold trim to it. I don't know if you guys noticed that. You picked that up. The second hand actually has the gold trim on it too. And it snaps into place really nice. You don't see a whole lot of bounce with it like you'll see some other manufacturers do. I'll give you a wrist shot. A little bit of size comparison on my wrist. This is my 7 1/8 wrist. It wears perfect. And if you have a smaller wrist, say like a sub 7-inch wrist, you're still going to be able to rock this watch. It's thin and it wears amazing. And the silicone strap is really nice. Putting it on a bracelet might be a little bit of a challenge. You might have to maybe do like a mesh or something like that. I was talking to Bruce about that, trying to figure something out. Here it is next to the Seiko SKX. If you can wear an SKX, you can easily wear this Tuna. Definitely in the thickness department as well. So you can see that's not nearly as proud as it. Here it is next to a Monster. Again, a lot of these Seikos, I mean, you guys know, if you're watching this, you guys are Seikoholics, I'm guessing. And you can see, because you don't have the automatic movement, that case back is way more flat. Plus you don't have the domed crystal or anything like that. It fits really good. Here it is next to a Turtle. Turtle's definitely larger. Alright, so let's do a Lume shot. And I want to show you something that I think ties into the bezel insert, the way they did that. Because Seiko stepped it up a notch. They loomed all the way down to the 15 hash. And they did it really well. I mean, look at that sucker glow. There it is next to an SKX. They did the Lume total justice. I mean, that alone, almost to me, that and the uniqueness of the size of the case and everything, and then that the way they did the bezel insert, the way it has depth, but also the fact that they loomed it from the factory, and then the price, you get that 35% off. I mean, you're talking a pretty legit deal from an authorized dealer. I'm not sure what the prices are around, Amazon or eBay or anywhere else, but definitely hit Mimo up and see what's available and grab one of these. I think these are probably one of the hottest value watches of 2018 from Seiko. I'm going to go ahead and call it right now. That's my pick for the value option, for cool factor and price, everything. This is my pick for 2018. We're only through July or whatever, and maybe something cool will happen towards the end of the year, but I doubt it. I think this is my top pick. See you on the next vid, guys.